sure whether I would be doing this fundamental analysis that's so early. But if you remember when we completed the basics of stock market class, I got this request that we should do fundamental analysis as soon as possible. So that it's fresh in our mind and we should continue with that. And that was the reason why me and my team, we were like, chalo, let's try to complete the notes, complete them in a very efficient way and in a way which is the fundamental analysis 1.2. Anyone has done that by the way? The previous fundamental analysis, you've already done? Yeah, but then I believe that after watching today's lecture only, you always get a feeling that, oh my god, this is new. Okay, because when I did fundamental analysis recording in 2019, at that time even I was learning, today also I'm learning, but I think that my knowledge of fundamental analysis, what it was 3 years ago and what it is today again, I think there's a lot of difference and I want to share my knowledge with you all. So we have done quite a lot of changes in fundamental analysis as well, right? So first of all, if I may ask you that whenever I talk about the word analysis, is it related only to stock market? No, it is related to, so let us say I want to buy a car. Am I going to do some analysis for that? Yes, just maybe 2-3 quick parameters if someone can tell me. Mileage, that is the first thing we check as Indians, right? Average batao pehle. Okay, mileage then. Itna dekhe, that was advertisement. Price comparison, absolutely. Then features, okay, fair enough. So whenever you're buying a car, you're going to check all these parameters. Is that nothing but analysis? Yes. Assuming you're going to buy a house, are you going to do analysis for that as well? Maybe quick 2-3 parameters. Locality, very important, yes. Vicinity to maybe school, to hospitals, to colleges, okay? And one more point, amenities. So 3 points we discussed for a car, 3 points we discussed for a house, and I hope everyone understood one common point in that nothing was common. Correct? So for car analysis, whatever points we discussed, and for house analysis, whatever points we discussed, main 3 points were different. Correct? If I were to decide that whom should I marry, okay, I'm done. Okay, my husband is sitting right there. He's asking, questioning my intentions again. But if I were to, that's not for me. Of course, there are many eligible bachelors and spinsters out here. So if we were to decide that who could be their better half, any 2-3 analysis is required here as well, right? 2-3 analysis points here. Compatibility. This is a very nice word because it can be discarded at any time whenever you want. Whenever 2 people want to separate, they'll be like, problem in compatibility issues. No one defines what is compatibility. Right? Okay, so compatibility can be 1 point. Anything else? Yes? Job. See, this 20-year-old kid is talking about analysis of selecting the better half. Kya baat hai? So whether that person has a job security or not, very nice. Financial planning. How is that? How is the other person in financial planning? Because otherwise one person can be really frugal. Frugal is jo paisa bachana chahta hai, will save a lot, will invest a lot, and the other one is like, aaj kuch to nahi karte. Spending on anything and everything in life. Correct? So here, whenever we are talking about buying a car or buying a house or selecting our partner, when I say every walk of life analysis is required. Everyone agrees? So stock market mein kya hai? Right, so whenever we are talking about investing in stock market, there also obviously analysis will be required. Everyone agrees with me now? Yes. So in simple words, why I wanted to do this small activity is that I wanted to tell you that everyone knows how to analyze. We have that analytical mind in place already. It's just that we need to learn application of that in this class. Everyone agrees? Yes? Okay. So whenever we are talking about application of analysis for fundamental analysis, which is the stock market analysis, now what we have to understand whenever we analyze any stock, we have to do as step number 1. This is known as fundamental analysis. Okay. Whenever we are doing analysis of any stock, we are going to select any stock. People say this is a good stock. People say this is a bad stock. On what parameters can I decide? Is what we are going to discuss here. So first let's understand the meaning of fundamental analysis. What have we written? Fundamental analysis is the study of assessing stock from a 360 degrees perspective. Again, quickly tell me, for car, house or better half, can I say again 360 degrees analysis is required? Yes, 360 degree analysis means analysis from each and every aspect. For a company analysis also, analysis from 360 degrees will be required. Everyone agrees? Yes. Now here, basically we talk about 2 parameters or 2 factors. So whenever we are talking about 2 major parameters, one is known as internal analysis and the other one is known as external analysis. Right? All of the things are there in your notes. Whenever you want to add up points, you can. Okay? So in the notes, if you're referring to the very second page, you can see that whenever we are analyzing any company, there will be 2 types of analysis, right? One will be the internal analysis and one will be the external analysis. So first, if I'm talking about an internal analysis, let's try and understand what all analysis can be done in internal analysis. Everyone has heard about Asian Paints? Paint company? Yes, everyone. So if I want to do an internal analysis of Asian Paints, what all things can I analyze for the company? If you can try and visualize and tell me. Company management, okay, very good. So whenever I'm talking about company management, I can try and see whether the management is competent enough or not. Correct? If management is not competent only, can I say wrong decisions might happen in the company? Yes. So if I'm talking about management, 2 things are generally checked. One is the competence, and second one, very important, is the honesty of the management. We call that as the integrity of the management. Management can be very competent and very dishonest. Will this combination work? No. The management has not, it's not going to, I mean, it's not supposed to look only at its own profitability, it has to look at the profitability of the overall shareholders as well. Right? So we talk about 2 things in management analysis. If you can quickly repeat which two analysis, one, whether they are competent or not, and second, whether they are honest or not. So how to check this and all that we're going to discuss slowly and steadily. Okay. Anything else that you have to? Industry analysis. Okay. Will that be an internal factor? Is it related to the company or is it related to something which is outside the company? Outside the company. So your point is correct, but I'll take that under external analysis. So industry will come up here. Industry analysis. So I'll quickly tell you. So what we are going to do right now is I'm just going to give you a gist. This is just an outlay. Every single point we are going to dig down deep. This is why we are here. Today, first session is just giving you a base introduction about everything. In Marathi we call it as Tondolok. Okay, just base introduction. Okay. So if I'm talking about industry analysis, I'll give you an example of Corona. During Corona, there was a strict lockdown if you remember. Yes. And when there was a strict lockdown, do you feel that there will be good production in paint companies? No? Will the production definitely drop? Yes. How do I come to know about that? Basic news analysis. Whenever we used to read the newspaper, we used to see that after strict lockdown, which are the essential factors? Essential industries and something like that, right? Essentials, non-essentials. Based on news, can I do a fundamental analysis as well? Yes. And that's what we did, industry analysis for paints. Anything else that I can check for company analysis? Yes, please. Profitability, very good. So can I say financials can be checked here? A little bit bigger word. So whenever I'm talking about financials, we can check the turnover of the company. Turnover means what? Sales, revenue. Someone said, kitna mileage de raha hai, kitna paise kama raha hai. How much money, how much sale is happening in the company? Is only sale important or profitability is also important? Both are important. The company might sell to a maddening extent, but finally, company is in losses. All those who are already investing in stock market. Best example can be all these new age companies. Paytm, Nykaa, Policybazaar. Fantastic revenue growth. But when it comes to profitability, gone. Okay, so can I say financials check is really important for any company analysis, right? Yes. Raw material acquisition you're talking about? Okay, so then he might be talking about something known as economy analysis. Economy analysis, that also comes in external factors. So we got to know when he wakes up every day. Okay, so when I talk about economy analysis, I'll give you a simple example for that. Everyone knows what is the current scenario right now, Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, assume that for paints, assume it's correct, actually, it's a fact. For paints, one of the basic raw material is crude oil. Okay, so a basic raw material for paint is what? Crude oil. And one of the largest exporters of crude oil is Russia. Okay, now can I say there will be a shortage in the supply of crude oil because of these war-related issues? Yes. My product is entirely dependent on this raw material. Will my production also get impacted? Yes. So what did I analyze? Did I analyze only Asian paints, or this is at an economy level which is impacting the company? Economy level which is impacting the company, and that's why we are calling it as an external factor. Simple clear? Yes. Anything else for the internal factor now? क्या बात है? So if we are talking about, so can I say answer is correct? If I'm talking about cash flows, ratios, if I'm talking about revenues, profits, all this will come up under what? Everything will come up under financials. Everyone agrees? Yes. Yes, please. Planning. Okay. Can I say planning can come under management competency? Planning will be good if management is competent enough. Correct. So should you also check what the product of the company is and whether they have any advantage over the competitors or not? Absolutely yes, right? So if I'm making a product which has no USP, what is USP? It's a unique selling point or a unique selling parameter. Multiple options. Okay. So when I'm talking about myself, is there only one stock market teacher all over India? No. But then I can say my USP is to simplify it. Right? So can I say whenever you're analyzing any company, you have to understand what is their competitive advantage, what is their USP, and all these financial gurus call it as a moat. I'll repeat, they call it as a they call it as a moat. And moat is nothing but a competitive advantage. Is this okay? Yes? I'll give you an example for that. Competitive advantage or moat can have multiple facets, multiple angles. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Asian Paints, same example we'll continue with. Do you know who is the leader right now in paint industry? It is Asian Paints. Okay. Now, one of the biggest moats of Asian Paint, one of the biggest competitive advantage of Asian Paints is that they're far ahead in technology as compared to their competitors. Have you heard about SAP? SAP is a software. It's an ERP, high-level software. For those who don't understand what's an ERP, very high-level software. These became popular somewhere around in 2000s, 2000 to 2010. This was the time when all these were in rise. Asian Paints started to use this SAP, high-end technology, since 1970s. Were they way ahead as compared to their competitors? Can I say this could have been their moat? This could have been their competitive advantage. Okay, I'll give you one more example. Earlier, certain paint industries were not able to crack the market. They were not able to be leader. I mean, there were a lot of paint companies, but everyone was eating up on a very small share. No one was like having kind of a monopoly, like a big share. And they were not able to understand how do I reach that retailer, how do I reach that small person who is wanting to buy paints. And what Asian Paints did is that they tried to survey where all is paint required other than painting houses. Houses paint to sub anything else other than that. So when they did a survey, they found that in South India, there is a festival wherein the horns of the bulls, they are painted. Even in Maharashtra, there is a celebration, there is a festival, Bailpura. And where the bullocks. Like I'm bad at that. Okay, ox, bull, whatever. You understand my emotions, right? Okay. So the horns of that animal are painted. Okay. Now you can imagine I am that person who owns that animal and I want to paint the horns in a very nice way. But for that only this big dabba was available of paint. How will I buy that? What smart move did Asian Paints do? Ticket size, small size. And that is how they reached to each and every small consumer. And there we talk about building a brand. So whenever we go to any shop, first thing is Asian Paints. You go to any big shop which is selling paints, first thing you will see is Asian Paint has to be there. Did you get an example of what is a competitive advantage? Moat. It could be a first mover advantage. We are the first ones to do that. That is a moat. Like, so Colgate, very similar example, and again same exercise of brand building. Many people go to a shop and say, Colgate hai kya? Do you have a Colgate? It should be, do you have a toothpaste? Whenever I asked the guy to print these books, he said, give me Xerox. Xerox is the name of the company. It is substituted with photocopy. Okay, yeah, then we say, there is a big JCB on the road. JCB is the name of the company. It is an earth moving equipment. That is again moat. That is again advantage. People talk about that product in my name. Colgate hai kya? Whenever they are wanting to buy any other toothpaste, they'll ask Colgate hai kya? That is a competitive advantage. People are just talking only about my company. Maggie as well. No one will say, do you have noodles? Do you have Maggie? Are you getting my point now? So, will I be able to find out a competitive advantage or a moat for any and every company? Depends. But if I'm able to find one, it means that that company gets a bonus point. This is special as compared to others. Are you with me? Yes? Very well understood what is more competitive advantage, right? So, with this basic understanding, as I mentioned, this is just an introduction to fundamental analysis. Isn't it interesting? Yes? A lot of case studies can come up in this, and we'll discuss them one by one. So, what we can do is, right now, I gave an example of this internal analysis and external analysis. Now, what we will do is that we will try and do an analysis of, by the way, yes. We'll take one more example, but as of now, I hope you have understood what are these internal factors and what are the external factors. Here, I'm talking about internal factors. Management competence, operational efficiencies, whether the management is efficient or not. How about the technology, correct? All these points we have discussed. And external factors, did we discuss an external factor as well? Yes, external factors like geopolitics. What is this? Geopolitical issues. Geographical issues. So, example, war, the Russia-Ukraine war, did we discuss that? Yes. Supply chain disruption. See, people might say that this time we have used some difficult words. Supply chain disruption, geopolitics. I've done that with some reason. If I use all simple words, then you will get a feeling that yes, I've understood everything. And when you read the news, you'll be like, what is this? So what we'll do, we'll use all these hard words and we'll learn the simple meanings of that. Okay, so if a news anchor says, there are a lot of geopolitical issues right now. What is that? Something is happening around the world. which is bad maybe for the market because you're saying geopolitical issues, geopolitical problems. Okay? If someone says there's a lot of supply chain disruption right now, what is happening? There is a problem in the transport of goods. अरे उसको थोड़ा टेंशन आ रहा है. You are answering such difficult questions. Complex होगा. Okay, so he's saying that maybe there is a problem in the supply chain. Correct? There is a problem in the transportation of goods. Acha, if you have recently done a video on YouTube wherein I talked about the bird. Can you just tell them? Disturbance होता है हमारा थोड़ा. Cutting ना करो. Okay, so moving ahead. Recently I done a YouTube video which talked about how there is a big problem in the supply chain from Russia and to Russia also. Right? Right now what has happened is that there are long queues on the roadways. 300 kilometers ka line on Russia-Ukraine border. And such heavy snowfall is there right now. The drivers are like, we feel that we might die in this cold. Why every single vehicle is being checked thoroughly before it is crossing the borders. They feel something might be wrong. I mean, there might be some war-related movement. Can I say that's an example of supply chain disruption? Yes. This is about roadways. Every single ship which is entering through the waterways, that is being checked thoroughly, especially if it is from Russia or Ukraine. Can I say that will also lead to supply chain disruption? Yes. Airspace. Russia has banned usage of airspace. Ukraine has banned usage of airspace. So if you want to move from point A to point B, and in between there is Russia. So only one possibility is use a longer route and go to point B. Will it take more time? Yes. If you remember, this had happened almost 6 to 8 months ago, maybe a year ago, about the Suez Canal. Have you heard about that? Suez Canal, S-U-E-Z, Suez Canal. And there what happened was, it's a very small canal. My geography is horrible, please don't ask where exactly the location is. If someone can help, you can tell me. Somewhere near Africa or Asia, Egypt. Egypt. Okay, thank you. Excuse me for that. Okay, so near Egypt, there is a Suez Canal. And a lot of waterway transportation happens through that. It's a comparatively narrower water body, and there a ship was turning. It's a very, I mean, when I read this for the first time, I thought, is this nonsense? How can this happen? I mean, we have seen this on roads, that the car is turning and it gets stuck up at a turning point, and everyone is honking horns. This can happen on a roadway, but imagine this happens with the ship. The ship was turning and it got stuck up. It was not able to turn properly. And this was not like 1 minute, 2 minutes. This went on for some days. Now you can imagine so many ships stuck up in a traffic jam on that side and on this side. What will it lead to? It will lead to supply chain disruption. Are you with me now? Will this impact stocks positively or negatively? Negatively, my raw material is stuck up. My finished products are stuck up. Okay, so I hope you're understanding the terminologies that we're using here. Supply chain disruption. Next one is industry analysis. Did we talk about this as well? Yes, industry analysis for paints, we did talk about that. And the last one which we did not talk about was a government policy. Now, can government policies also impact a specific stock in a positive or in a negative way? Yes. If someone can give me an example for that. Very good, bus, okay, done. Yeah, correct. So I'll take both. I think both are very good examples and very different examples. Like she said, government reduces tax. Did this happen? You're saying what nonsense? Tax and reduction? I said, not that. Tax always keeps on increasing. Was the corporate tax reduced? And answer is yes. Corporate tax was reduced, not individual tax. And corporate tax is reduced. Now the effective tax rate for some private limited or some, there is a threshold also. Here the tax rate was taken down to almost 20 to 25% after surcharge and all that education says to somewhere around 25%. And after surcharge education says it was coming to almost 33%. So from 33%, the tax rate was reduced to almost 25% for almost all the companies. Positive sign or negative sign? Positive sign. Was it only given to one company or a lot of companies? A lot of companies were fitting into that specific criteria. Okay, so that is an example of cutting corporate tax. What example did he give? He gave an example of a subsidy. Or for subsidy, these days a lot of experts are using this word PLI. So it is not directly a subsidy, but it is very close to that. And someone told me the full form. Very good. It's a production-linked incentive. If you want to write this down as an example for a government policy, what is a PLI? PLI is a production-linked incentive. Those who have done a job in sales, you know that a basic salary will be given to you. And what does the employer tell you? You perform better and you get more incentive. Copy-paste logic comes up here. What is the government saying? Right now we want more and more EVs to come up. What is EV? Electric vehicles. You want more and more electric vehicles to come up. More you produce, more the incentive we will give you. Who is giving incentive to? Government is giving an incentive to the company. One more example, Dixon Technologies. If you heard about this name? Yes? Dixon Technologies is one of the manufacturers. Okay. What Dixon does, they will produce, now these, I'm sure everyone knows that laptops are generally not produced in India. All these Taiwan, Japan, China, their laptops will be produced. But if you know, Dixon Technology manufactures laptops. Televisions, generally good quality televisions, not manufactured in India. Dixon Technology manufactures televisions. But the branding will be of someone else. You can imagine they'll make a laptop, they'll give it because production, labor is comparatively cheap in India. So this is typically called as outsourcing. You're using a lot of terminologies. If you're not aware, write it down. If you don't understand the meaning, raise your hand and ask me, okay? What is outsourcing? So for example, I am Acer. Everyone knows Acer laptops, okay? And I tell that I want 20,000 laptops. So who will tell this? To Dixon Technologies. Dixon Technologies will manufacture 20,000 laptops. We'll give it to Acer. Acer will put their sticker. Acer laptop. We're like Acer laptops. It's made in India. Okay. Now why government would want to give an incentive to Dixon Technologies? Because they are making it in India. Does the government want to promote Make in India thing? Absolutely yes. So more and more you make in India, more and more incentives you enjoy. How will we get to know whether a company or whether can the government declare incentive to only one company, or they declare an incentive to a specific sector? To a specific sector. Depends upon the world. Dixon will get this much incentive. No, that is cheating. Right? So there's any company who manufactures above this threshold, you will get an incentive. Anyone. Fair enough. Now how can I understand whether the government is really giving PLIs to any specific sector or not? Any event that you can think of where government can declare that in this sector we are going to offer PLIs. The budget. Okay. So during budget, all these incentives, all these schemes are declared by the government. Okay. Now you might be like, oh my God, so do I have to follow the budget also? You need not follow the entire budget. What you have to do is follow my lecture on what is the budget analysis. Finish. Okay. Slowly, steadily, you will be also able to analyze budget based on all these things only. What else it is? If you see a specific sector is going to get a PLI, you should be like, oh, will that be positive news or negative news? That will be surely a positive news for the company. Okay, till here, all internal, all external factors. Any doubt? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. True, true, true. So I think same old logic that if government wants that we should do an import substitution. Again, one more word, import substitute. But plain English, technically speaking. Import substitute. How will I substitute an import? By making it in India, simple. Okay, so can I say that is also a government scheme which can be used to boost the production in India? Yes. Okay, clear? Yes.